I am Chief Inspector Chris Werner, that's W-E-R-N-E-R, and I'm going to report on the double murder of 3800 Mount Pleasant in Fairmount Park. All right, so on February 29th, 2024, at about 11:58 in the evening, Philadelphia police officers responded to a hospital case. At that location, they found a male and a female. Their names are Thurston Cooper, he's a 49-year-old male, and a female, Krista Chambers. They were shot execution style. Mr. Cooper was shot once in the head, and Ms. Chambers was shot once in the head and once in the chest. Through really great detective work by Homicide Division detectives Francisco Campbell and Stephen Blackwell, they were able to determine that both Cooper and Chambers were at the Tell-Up Bar in the 1300 block of Alney Avenue. The investigation determined that Cooper and Thurston had contact with two individuals, Dale Johnson, she's a 56-year-old black female, and Lamar Young, he's a 52-year-old black male. There's some type of interaction between the victims and these two individuals inside the bar. We're not certain what the interaction was, but we definitely determined they had contact with one another and they were speaking with one another in the bar. Sometime after that interaction, they decided to leave the bar together. There was no coercion in taking both victims to the car. It was Dale Johnson's car. It was a Kia Sportage, and they escorted him to the car. And about 20 minutes later, we had the car in the 3800 block of Fairmount, and that's how we identified the individuals. In fact, we put Mr. Young's picture out. He turned himself in the next day, and then Highway Patrol winded up stopping Mrs. Johnson or Miss Johnson in her Kia Sportage that same day. That's basically it. Through this investigation, we were able to determine that both of those individuals, we believe, are the perpetrators of that homicide, that double homicide. We don't. There was definitely some interaction. We are getting information from individuals just through word of mouth, but we don't have anything concrete. We believe there was some type of disturbance that was resolved. We believe they were possibly even purchased drinks for one another after that disturbance, and we believe that both victims were offered a ride by Johnson and Young at the conclusion of the night.
Do you know if they knew each other prior to meeting at that bar?
We believe that all the parties frequented that location, so they may have known each other prior to this night. So yes.
And was anything taken? You know, was there robbery at all involved?
No, we don't believe so.
Is there any surveillance footage from inside the pillars?
So we put out a photograph of Mr. Young from the Tell-Up Bar, and that's how he winded up seeing himself in the photograph and turned himself in. So yes. So we had them leaving the bar at about 9:40 in the evening. We then have, we pick up the Kia Sportage that Miss Johnson owns in the 3800 block of Mount Pleasant about 20 minutes later.
Could this have been a drug deal going back?
I don't believe so. I think it was a dispute in the bar. May have been based on previous contact. For all we know, they may have had contact in the past that was, caused an issue between them.
Was anything premeditated? You said they got in the car and then were shot in Fairmount?
So what we know is that they entered the car at about 9:40, and then we picked the car up in Fairmount Park on the 3800 block of Mount Pleasant about 20 minutes later. We don't have video of the actual shooting itself, but it's at a distance, it's grainy, but we do have their vehicle on location.
Any reason to believe that they were, 20 minutes later, you get the car in Fairmount?
Right.
That when they were shot, or was there
We believe that car was on location for a very short period of time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And then subsequently, an individual driving through the park happened to see what he believed were legs of a female. This individual had knowledge of the park, was in the park, and actually turned around to double check and confirm what he saw, and then found those two individuals and contacted 911.
The suspects, are they a couple? Are they regulars?
We believe they're a couple, yes. Yeah.
Married?
No.
And the other two are just colleagues, coworkers? They work at
No, I think they were just acquaintances. I don't think they were boyfriend or girlfriend or in a long-term relationship.
But you said they worked at a bar?
No, they frequent that tell-up bar, 1300 block of West Donelly. It's just TELLUPS, tell-ups. And it's the exact address is going to be 1322 West Donelly.
Just to clarify, so 20 minutes after around 9:40, the Kia was found, and then the two victims were found. Well,
So no. So I'll clear that up. So what we have is at about 9:40, we see our suspects or doers leaving that location with the victims. They enter the car. At around 10:04, 10:03, we have that car in the park. At 10:58, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm squinting looking at this. But about 10:58, it's a 911 call for that location for a hospital case. Rescue responded. They confirmed that the individuals were shot and they were deceased on location. Officers subsequently responded to that. It was spotted in that park. Yeah, it was spotted in that park.
any other suspects?
I'm sorry?
Any other suspects?
No.
Are the suspects cooperating with you guys?
I'm not going to answer that question. Go.
With the highway patrol, when they got that Kia Sportage on North
Yeah.
Broad,
Mhm.
the woman wasn't cuffed at the time. Did they let her go until the arrest yesterday,
No.
this week?
No. She was brought here, and I understand there's a time difference in between when the warrants were secured, but we were in the process of conducting further investigation. So we were engaged in investigative efforts. I don't want to say more than that.
This is a heinous crime.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, you have a 20-minute interval from the time they leave that location, and then the victims were in the park where they were found shot. It's really a senseless crime, quite frankly. And if it's over an argument, I mean, you're looking at a double murder. Both individuals are charged with murder, conspiracy, possession of instrument of crime. Dale Johnson, she's the female. She did have a permit to carry.
were there any bruises before they were shot? Was there any signs of bruising or anything?
No.
Is it known which one of the two allegedly shot?
No.
So you think they all got in the car together and then?
We know they got in the car
They
together.
all got in the car
Yeah.
together. You think that they went to the park back where they were?
So we believe they were offered a ride. I think we believe through our investigation that the victims were looking to take an Uber or maybe a Lyft, and they were offered a ride, and they were subsequently taken into the park and executed.
Do you think that, based on your investigation, that the people, the suspects, knew that they were going to murder them, or that?
No.
that
No.
this happened, like,
There's no indication that they were forced. What we know and what we observed in surveillance video, there's no indication that they were forced into the car. They willingly entered that car, and I don't think, based on what we know of the investigation, they had any idea what was going to happen in that park.
From the surveillance of Mount Pleasant, did they look like they were trying to run away?
It's so grainy that we have the Sportage in the park, the Kia Sportage in the park, but we really don't. That video does not capture exactly what occurred. But they were found right in the gully there, right in the, like, I guess a ravine. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. I've seen it on body camera video, but they were right directly off the road, almost as if they were led or asked to step out of the car and then immediately executed.
2 days ago, police said that Johnson, or the 6-year-old woman, lines up with Johnson's age, was initially brought into custody, questioned about this double homicide, and then released because there was insufficient evidence.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So we had sufficient evidence to charge him based on evidence that was recovered in his property. We really didn't have evidence to charge her initially. and that's why she was released.
I know some people ask about what we think the possible motive could be. Usually I feel like everyone can kind of deduce to something, even
Right.
if you wouldn't say it. This is just so, bizarre. Can you just elaborate? Can you give us maybe what they did?
I really can. I mean, when I watched the video, and it doesn't appear. It appears as if they willingly got into the car. I can imagine that the end point was not that park, but I don't know what was told to them to get to that park. I believe there was probably. I believe that they were told they were going to be taken to a different location, and they were driven to the park. Under what what was told to them, we don't know at this point.
Do we know what any of the four did for work? Or?
No, I don't have that information right now. I don't think it was random because I think they had contact before in the bar. From what I understand, and this is again through the investigation, we determined that all four parties frequented that Tell-Ups bar at that location. They obviously knew each other because they had contact with one another. Again, there was some type of contact, and I believe the perpetrators, Johnson and Lamar. I think there was contact between Cooper and Johnson that Young was not happy about, and that was somewhat resolved, or it was believed it was resolved at the bar, and obviously it wasn't.
I'm not able to find anything on the bar online.
Okay.
What kind of bar is it?
I don't know. I've never been there, but if you drive out to the 1300 block of West Alany, that's essentially Broad and Alany. So it's probably just a bar either in that block or on that corner.
Did Johnson and Lamar have any previous records?
I can't comment on that. I can say this, that Young is known to the police. That's it. That's all I'll say about that.
Anything you want to say to the residents of that area?
I don't think it's centric to that location. I think the perpetrators. I think it's, we have them in custody. They're facing murder charges. So I don't think the residents have any concern because those individuals are in custody.
Trust, though. You think you trust somebody, and
Well, I think you have to be careful who you trust.
can you elaborate on this?
I think that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Tell us one word.
I'm sorry?
Tell us is one word.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. I thought I was clear about that. Tell-Ups. Tell-Ups. The only cap is the T.
So there were
We good?
2 and 2. So can you just, I didn't catch it. I know that I'm recording it.
Okay.
Can you just tell me the names and the ages
Sure.
of the?
Sure. It's going to be, so the victims are Thurston Cooper. He's a 49-year-old black male. And Christina Chambers. She's a 38-year-old black female.
Sorry, 49 and 38.
Yes.
And Christina with a C or a K?
K.
Christina Chambers?
Yes.
Okay. Those are the victims.
The perpetrators, it's going to be a Dale Johnson. She's a 56-year-old black female. And a Lamar Young, 52-year-old black male.